Hello, this is Jared playing Oxygen Not Included. In this episode, I'm going to look at firing off a rocket. It's going to be carbon dioxide rocket. For the payload, I will want to have, oh maybe I actually need the research for this. I want to have a telescope. So let's start with the engine for the telescope. I think that is at the towards the bottom. Yeah, there it is. Cartographic module. Let's get that researched. So that is on the way. I want to launch this with the new laboratory room. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but what do I need? I need 2 science buildings, a light source, no industrial, minimum, maximum size. I think we can make that happen, so we'll see if we can get a laboratory together before that rocket is sent off. The other issue I have is I'm running out of plastic or petroleum, so I've got no more oil left in the world. I'll need to actually produce oil with an oil well. That's going to be a little bit tricky because I need to get water into it, so I'll have to be careful about water that's insulated, or make sure that pipes are insulated so it doesn't freeze in the pipes. Might as well get one of the dupes access to this to upgrade one of their skills. Let's look at this. And do I have the tech for? Actually, it's the different categories. Utility, oil well. Make this out of iron and put it right there. It's going to need some power, but as I mentioned, some water as well. And I'm going to make sure that that water is insulated, or the pipe itself. Do that with the igneous rock. We'll see how that goes. This is going to be for the oil going out. I'll need water going in. I'll trace a path from here to my water source, making sure not to interact with the oil pipe, because those two will need to be kept separate. See, this pipe's no longer used. This used to be for the polluted water to enter. I still may need that because that'll actually, looking at this needs to be refilled soon. So I'll keep that intact. And get the dupes to put an insulated water line that connects right here. It's time to give a skill. I'm going to give that to Mole. Mole is a strong digger and builder, so they're likely going to be one of the dupes that I send to another asteroid to actually set up a base there. So having more skills will be beneficial. Oops, was brought up here. Just going to wait for Mole to receive their skills so we can see what it is. They are excited to be selected for an upgrade. Complete the process, and they get 20% health. So if they're actually in their dangerous area, that's going to be very beneficial. I believe they have the sunny disposition. I can't remember the other skill that they get. Yeah, sunny disposition, which gives them a stress relief. So that combined with the health is going to make them very travel worthy. Looks like we have everything in place to get water here. And this thing is powered. Let's look at why water's not getting through. I guess, oh, we're disconnected there. So this thing, that oil well consumes 1,000 grams a second. Let's reduce this to 1,000. The idea is this should match what the well is going to be consuming, so you don't have excess buildup of water. We'll see how that works out. Put the final, I think that's the final connection. Yep, there it is. We can see water going in. And I'm going to watch to see if this temperature stays above freezing. It is 33 degrees, maintaining that. Speed things up temporarily. If that water can reach this oil well and not freeze when it gets there, then we'll be producing some oil, and I think we'll be fine at this point. It hasn't really dropped that heavily. Just realized that one of the dupes had to manually change this, so the first bit of water actually might be heavier than I had wanted it to be. Actually, maybe what I'll have to do is turn it back off. Get one of the dupes and send it back on. Just avoid water sitting in the pipes. The initial batch of water is on the way in. Slow things back down a little bit once it gets here. Once I have water going here, I already have power connected. The thing is running and it's outputting some crude oil. It's also going to make some natural gas, so I'll have to consider an air pump to be able to do with that. Maybe we'll dig out an area to prepare for that. But now the pump is finally sending some crude oil back up into my system so I can generate some plastic again. So I've been producing oil. I have the dupes building this air pump that's going to pump excess natural gas that this thing is creating. And this sensor is going to detect if the pressure is over 1,000. If it is, it'll pump stuff out. So that's going to keep this area from not being overpressured. Currently have the water set to be sending half the amount that it should. So let's dial this back up again. So what I'm doing with this plastic is the whole plan is to produce more plastic, but the reason for that is I want to make more of these transit tubes. And I want to specifically have a tube that's going to go from the center of my base, get rid of some of these ladders, to go to the top of my base where I ultimately will have a rocket. And that's going to aid in the space exploration so that I can get dupes up here a little bit quicker. And the other thing, I have a oxygen mask station down here. I'm going to change that to be over here. And the transit tube is essentially going to drop dupes off so they can essentially put on a mask and go up at here and do some work out in space. Let's check on the temperature. So the temperature was actually getting a little bit too warm before. I can see that has dropped. That's not a bad thing. The core water area is 30 degrees, and I've got pipe going all around the base. Polluted water line, essentially maintaining the temperature of the base so it's comfortable for the dupes to live within this spot. Let's design our laboratory. I haven't created one of these before, so we'll see how this goes. I believe it's pretty much just 2 science buildings. So put door. It needs to be at least 32 tiles. 52, we're going to be fine. Let's start with this first science building. Virtual planetarium, which is one of the buildings I need anyway, so that's good to have. Consumes 120 watts, so I can just put that on a regular power line. Don't need the heavy. Be beneficial to have some lights for that. Fortunately, this is connected via that. Let's skip that process. Alright, so it mentioned I need a light. So put a light source right there. Dupe sensor. And let's just put, it says I need another science building. I'll just throw the basic one next to it and we'll see if that does the trick, along with this light. So basic research station sits right there. And let's give that light and research station power, and we'll see if I have a laboratory. Maybe that's all there is to it. I'm gonna put a bin here for databanks. So I now have a room called a laboratory. So that gives me an efficiency bonus. I'm not entirely sure how that's applied. I need 2 science buildings, have those in light source. So it's happy with that. It also says if I hover over here, it enables the Geotuner and mission control stations. So I see, I wasn't expecting this, but there's a Geotuner. I don't see the mission control station. I don't know if this, I need some more research to enable that. That was kind of the whole goal, but I do want to experiment with the Geotuner, so let's put that in there as well. And we'll see if I can figure out how to get a mission control station in here. It looks like I might need to change the size or do something, but figure out where the building is itself first. Notice the water level is getting a little bit lower, so I'm going to get the dupes at higher priority to fill this with ice and snow. And this conveyor rail is going to send that material around. That's going to add some cooling here, but when it eventually warms up, it'll turn to water. So I have the Geotuner ready. I'm going to select this. I guess your way of selecting it is figuring out the geyser name. The only one, I guess you have to do analysis of a geyser. There's one that I actually already did. That is this one, cool/geyser RA432 times 1. So I'm going to click on that, and we're going to see what happens if there is any actual setting errand. So it looks like one of the dupes is going to be on their way. Let's look at what that animation looks like. Meals is on the way in. Clicking a button. And it has a whole sort of model of the the geyser on this table. Experiment needed, skill required, operation. So I wonder if Brains has that ability. Brains is research. Do I need anything specific? Other than that, we'll find out. Do this. Up the priority of this. We'll wait for Brains to get in there and do something. Experimentation needed. Now they're not going down to the actual geyser itself. Okay, no, I don't see them there. My assumption is they're going to do something here, and then I'll be able to click on the geyser and we'll see the bonus. Maybe, hopefully, if it's in the simple terms, probably not in this game, it'll say a percentage of how much more it's doing. Otherwise, well, I guess we'll just wait and see. Oh, it needed some material. Bleach stone. Wait, I didn't realize it requires bleach stone. Does it have any information? Insufficient resource, bleach stone. Okay, I don't know if each geyser is different based on the material that it needs. Do I have bleach stone that I can mine? Was it? Oh yeah, I do. Let's dig out some and see if I can get this to be sent. Now, if I'm going to do some mining of bleach stone, that means that I'm going to want to have a place to store that bleach stone, in a place that it's not going to go bad. We'll do that right there. So let's up the priority here of that being dug out. Waiting for that. I'll put in some more tubes. Alright, so one of the dupes is going to dig this out. It's going to give us access to more bleach stone. So we're going to pick that up. Most likely they're going to drop it off here. Let's put the excess down here. So that is going to be consumable ore. Bleach stone. We'll do that as a little bit higher priority, so it doesn't all go away as chlorine. So experiment is needed. There is Brains to slow this down. So Brains is getting up there. They have to stand on a stool. That's fine. Clicking on a few things. Oh, I see. They're just mixing this bleach stone and burning it, putting it in there, and that apparently is going to add a remaining 100%. Target is not erupting. Waiting to, so we need to eat more bleachstone again. And I don't know if this is going to take a little bit longer. Oh, I see it. I believe this icon's now different. So that indicates that maybe something's working. Geotuner 101. I didn't actually, maybe I should have seen the effect before, or what it was outputting before, to see if there was an increase, or maybe if I hover on this, this tells me what it's being boosted by 1 out of 1. Boosted by, but by how much? It's telling me the rate of polluted water that's going out, but not necessarily how much from this experiment. I will just take it for granted that I'm getting more polluted water. And still trying to figure out how to build a mission control station. And miss it here. The Geotuner is there. I thought maybe I have to complete my first rocket, but I have done that, and I still don't seem to be able to build a mission control station anywhere. So I'll keep experimenting with that. I went back in time before I did the geotuning just to see what this is emitting. It is emitting a little bit over, say, 4,100 or so grams a second. I'm getting almost 5,000 after the geotuning, so that gives you a little bit of an idea of how much of a difference it makes. So that is that. I'll go back to my previous load. I was just curious what the difference is. But anyway, from 4,160 to about 5,000. So I've constructed this area down here. It's going to be the new location of metal refinery. Putting it down here so that it has this area that it can warm up. I've got the cool gush geyser. Don't want water or polluted water to fill up over here, so I'm going to put a wall right there to avoid that from happening. And what that's going to allow me to do is produce steel, because if I produce steel on this particular metal refinery, it's going to heat this up too much, and I don't want that to happen, so that's why I've got it down here. I can actually keep this polluted water cool with the freezing temperatures that is down here. So I'm going to use ethanol line that goes all the way around this, and it'll go into this area when this area needs to have a bit of cooling. Currently still in the freezing temperatures, but once I start producing more steel, that won't be the case. Why do I need steel? Well, that is to make a cartographic module. See if I can create one. Maybe I have enough material. I do. Okay, so I can actually build this. I've got enough plastic, I've got enough steel that can be built. We can start to do some space exploration, which is good. Still haven't found out how to do the controls station, but finish off on this transit tube. A little bit of a change here. So this is going to be relocating these oxygen masks up here, and the dupes will be able to go up into that area with this transit tube rather than have to climb the ladder. So I'm producing some other materials. This is where I'm producing some lime. Also had to produce some refined carbon. That's two of the inputs to make steel, along with iron. The other thing I will note is there may have been no point to putting this pump here. Now, if I had to put a door here, maybe it would, but natural gas is just flying up here anyways. This is an area that the dupes are wearing the Atmos suits, so I don't really care. That's just going to fall down here, and I'll deal with it in the future. So maybe I'll even disable that building for the time being. I made a change to the laboratory. So that is giving a bonus to each of the science buildings. So I figure all the science buildings should be in the laboratory. So I removed all the other ones. It was up here. I've got now a supercomputer in here, 2 regular research stations, virtual planetarium, and material study terminal, all within the same laboratory. This could have been split up amongst more than one room, but I decided to put it all here. They all have access to light. I have this partial wall. It's a partial wall so that the dupes can't get across and be hit by rebels that are firing down here. But because this is open, it does technically make it all one room. So now I'm getting the science bonus for that. Don't know what it is. It just simply says there's efficiency bonus, and that applies if you click up here. Laboratory, it says science stations built in laboratory function more efficiently. It doesn't say by how much, but whatever. The bonus is I'll have them in that. And that's probably what I'm going to always do from now on. Always make a laboratory as soon as I can. It's pretty easy to do. You just need lights, 2 research stations, and then that's it. You get a science research bonus just by having that. Nearly complete this change here. Just have to have 2 mesh tiles. This area has been destroyed, so now I can get rid of these mesh tiles and connect the ladder and fire pole. Actually, the ladder's not probably most important since the dupes will be going up in the transit tube most of the time, but anyway, certainly the fire pole would be nice to have. Otherwise, they'll have to go around this loop for no reason, so that's going to be that. So the dupes will be dropped off here, and when they want to go up in space, they can just put in one of these gas masks and go up there. Let's enable that building now, so that when they're up here. Oh, and the cryptographic module is now ready. That is good to see. Let's build a ladder that goes up there, because I haven't done the inside of this rocket. I think that's going to be what I'm going to do next episode, is build the inside of this rocket, build a mission control station, and send that rocket over. Well, let's have a look on the star map. Where do I want to send it? I want to figure out which one of these is another asteroid that I can go and explore. That's the first thing that I've got to do. So that's why I get the cryptographic module. Next thing after that will probably be sending a robot onto one of those, but one step at a time. So there it is. I've got a transit tube that goes up, so that when I'm exploring space, the dupes don't have to climb this really long ladder anymore. I've built a rocket, so I'll have to do the inside, and would like to do a mission control station. I think the research for that is still ongoing, so I've been going after. Actually, I should get into this area. Submit scan, but I should get. There's a lot of I did analysis on that asteroid that is, or that geyser that is now complete. Anytime you do analysis on a geyser, you get data banks. That's why I'm doing that. So I'm just going to search for various different geysers. Anyway, I'll do that later on. But in this episode, the other thing that I did is I wasn't able to produce any more plastic because I ran out of the natural oil that was there. So now I have an oil. Oh, it froze. Better dig that out. So that is that may be. Okay, let's see that. What's the temperature? 18 degrees. Let's temporarily turn this off. Get that functioning. And then the other bit is I put this spot here. Now I've got gonna have the various different inputs that I'm gonna go into the metal refinery. I'll set those up later. That's the lime and the iron and all that stuff. So that's gonna keep this area warm. It's already warmed up a bit. And then when it gets too warm, I'm actually going to take the coldness that's from down here. I noticed that it's already warmed up just a little bit. It's around minus 87 degrees. I still want to get it above minus 55, but we're working on it. And I think that will do. Still lots of ice. And my idea with ice is I'm just keep dumping it here. I'll just finish with this then. I'm going to dump my ice and snow. And I'm going to have this system essentially push it through this water. This is going to cool down the water. The water has actually gotten a little cool, so maybe I'll produce a little bit of material here just to warm things up a little bit. And we'll finish off with that in the next episode. I think we'll actually fire a rocket off with the mission control station. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in next episode. Till then. Just a final piece before I go. It looks like the Geotuner does, in fact, need to be in the laboratory.